premise as being true, which refers to the soundness of the premise, then you can get to a conclusion that is logically correct.
Yeah, I can frame my argument like that as well.
What I'm saying to you is that we can't get there because the premise we can both agree with. So you're saying that it's possible.
No. Let's put it your way. Everything that didn't exist and has come into existence requires a being to bring it into existence.
I don't agree.
Okay. Let me finish my point and then you can tell me why you don't agree. The universe exists, therefore there has to be a creator brought into existence. Okay. Now, for you not to agree, everything that didn't exist, I'm saying what we can determine, what we can test. Everything that we can determine, everything we can test that didn't exist and was brought into existence, it requires someone who brings it into existence. I would say for you to say that's wrong, you're going to have to demonstrate me something that came into existence without a creator.
So the burden of proof is on the person typically on the person making the positive claim. You haven't met your burden of proof, and until such time, I'm warranted in withholding or holding my position.
Okay. Let me make my proof. I'm saying everything that we can determine and everything we can demonstrate and which we agree upon, if it didn't exist, we know that a being brought it into existence, and that being had knowledge, power, capability, and intent. So, the headphones you said, the microphones, the coat you're wearing.
The last time we did this, I used the example of the water cycle, or water.
Yeah.
And this is a natural element as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
You're saying that no, it had to have a creator. So this is for us to get to a point.
Can you demonstrate it?
You're saying that. I'm not.
No. Because I'm not talking about water, because water is a natural thing which when we talk about
it exists.
It exists. Yes. Listen to me carefully. I'm saying those things which we can demonstrate. Because here we're discussing, did a God create water or not? Did a God create the cycle or not?
I don't want to put words into your mouth, but isn't your argument that everything exists has a creator?
That's my argument. Everything we can demonstrate.
So, are you telling me that you can't demonstrate that? No, let me not put words into your mouth. What do you mean by when you say demonstrate?
No problem. So, for example, this microphone. This bag. This camera. And the list is endless. The watch, the bus, the building. We know that when they didn't exist, somebody brought them into existence. And that something had knowledge, it has a level of intellect, had capability, and intended to do this.
For those things, yes, but I'm saying for other things like water that exist, what about those things?
No problem. So that's what we're discussing. Human beings, the universe, the water. Does it have a creator?
Water, grass,
fruit, etc.
All of these natural things, because your argument is this planet has a creator. So what I'm saying to you is you have to demonstrate that it has a creator. And I'm saying until such time that you can
my demonstration is very simple. It exists, therefore it has a creator.
So we got back to the point.
So I'm saying is, if you can demonstrate how something which didn't exist can come into existence without these three necessities, knowledge, capability, and intent. If you can demonstrate how this is possible, then I would say now you can make a reasonable case that the universe could exist without.
But that's not how logic works, because you
Why
have.
Not? It's logical to me.
I know it's logical to you, but
it makes perfect sense to me.
But I'll demonstrate why.
Yeah.
The reason why we know something is created is because we have a demonstration of a creator.
Yes.
That's why we know that something is created and something's not created.
Yes.
That's how we distinguish between the two.
Yes.
Until such time that you can demonstrate that there is a creator.
Can you carry that rule across to all things which we understand? Like, for example, the headphones, you haven't seen the creator, maybe you don't know when it was made, but because of your experience, that anything like this has to have knowledge, ability, and intent. Therefore, I'm going to make the same claim or the same assertion for the headphones.
That doesn't work, because even if I don't technically know, if we spent enough time between us, we could do the research and we'd be like, okay, this was made in a manufacturing plant somewhere, and we can get the evidence that people on an assembly line, or it could have been one individual, created this using certain resources, elements, blah, blah, blah. The same thing can be done with this banner, the same thing could be done with this pole and anything.
I agree.
The same thing can be done with buildings, buses, we get it. So the issue is when we're talking about things like grass, fruits, and somebody is claiming, or the planet, and is claiming, because I know this was created, it logically follows that it must have had a creator. I'm saying I haven't seen the creative process or the manufacturing process to demonstrate that a who, a god, a someone, an entity can create something of this magnitude. It's not reasonable to argue by analogy, because the thing is about analogies, analogies always break down at some point because they're analogous by their very nature. They're not supposed to be the same.
Okay, so look, on that point, I would still say, then I would ask you to demonstrate something which you can actually demonstrate, given time, given research, the same way you could find out who made this. I would like you to demonstrate something which you can actually positively demonstrate didn't exist, came into existence without knowledge, capability, and intent. Because I would say that this, as far as I understand, it is a, how do you say?
It's ultimately an assertion, because it's an assertion which you cannot. You can have all the time you want. Show me something which didn't exist. It was brought into existence without knowledge, ability. That's not how reasoning works. The fact that I don't know the answer doesn't mean that your answer is correct. That isn't how logic works.
Of course. No, but
that's what you're arguing.
No, that's not my argument. That's not my argument.
I'll tell you why.
My argument is...
You're saying I don't know.
No, that's not my argument.
So you're warranted in holding the belief that you hold.
No. That's like me saying, because you don't know who made these headphones, and even though you could have the opportunity to find out, because you don't know, then I can say, well, until you know, these headphones could have made themselves. And I don't think that anyone would believe that. So I'm not saying it's because you personally in front of me now, you don't know. I'm saying I don't understand, I don't know that you can find something and demonstrate something which didn't exist and came into existence without knowledge, capability, and intent. So I'm saying if that's the ground rule, if that's the foundation, then I'm going to apply that to the creation.
But why don't we just say I think the natural world is the best example of that. Because all the available information that we have about how humans or the planet has come to be, the solar system, is through natural means.
What natural means?
So I'm saying in terms of, let's say, the water cycle, or in terms of photosynthesis and whatnot.
So you're saying you can demonstrate natural means how water came to exist?
No, so your argument
My example is because it exists. My argument is because the universe exists, because we exist, and all that it contains. Obviously, we can give a long list. I say it necessitates a creator
who has knowledge, power, and what was the other one?
And intent.
And what I'm saying to you is that the available information to date about how the natural world has come to be doesn't accord with the position that you hold. Because if you're talking about the solar system, if you're talking about grass, if you're talking about water cycle, sedimentary rocks, volcanic activity.
Okay, let's make it simple. So you demonstrate to me something in the universe which came about without a creator.
So I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I still hold. I still hold.
Can you prove it?
I still hold a position that I don't know. But what I would say, the available information in terms of data, abiogenesis, and whatnot, because I'm not going to adopt the burden of proof. It's not for me to.
Why not? No, because look, all that we know, our human experience says that if something didn't exist and it came into existence, it requires a being with knowledge, capability, and intent. And you're saying, and I'm saying, if that's what we know, then I'm saying that applies for the universe and ourselves. And if you're saying it's possible that the universe or ourselves came about without a God, without a creator, I'm asking you to, demonstrate to me. Demonstrate to me how's that feasible.
So I'm saying to you, I don't know, and I'm saying the explanation regarding how we've got here, the best available information to date is based on it coming about by natural needs. By natural means.
So demonstrate water coming about by natural means.
So I'm saying biologists can explain this way better than I can.
They can't. The biologists and the scientists, etc. Like for example, I have a friend. He studied imperial physics. He said that they were in the class. They were asked like the color of something, and if I remember correctly, the example the teacher gave, he held up something which was purple. So he said purple. Then he asked them to explain why is it purple. And because they're far more intelligent than me, they explained about, the light and all this and how this color came. And then the teacher, he kept on pushing them. But why? But why? But why? And he said that they reached a point where simply they can't explain it.
So I'm saying, this is what I'm saying, the available information to date just explains natural means. And if you're...
It doesn't. I think that's your interpretation because, for example, when you explain, like for example, when we gave the example of the human body or the human life, when we explain it, all the processes it goes through, when we explain how milk comes from cows, etc., this still doesn't provide evidence that this could happen without a creator.
No, but this is the issue is
because your argument is basically, I'm going to say there's three options. One is there's a creator. One is there isn't a creator. This just came into existence without a creator, without knowledge, without power, without intent. It just exists. And you're saying that there's a third option of simply we don't know, but there could be another answer. And you're saying that's the most reasonable position. But I'm saying you can't even demonstrate that that's a possibility.
No, I'm saying to you, we don't have enough data. So I think this will be a one-liner, and I'm sure there's going to be somebody out there who's going to try and correct me. But in terms of abiogenesis, in terms of like the Big Bang,
I don't know what this is,
and all of that, I only understand it at a very rudimentary level. But they're saying before that point, we don't have a way to be able to understand what happened, and even the idea of there being a before might not make even sense. And our local presentation of time in terms of the Big Bang and then how...
And what caused the Big Bang?
This is my point. So before that point, if before even makes sense, we don't know. We just don't know what led to that, whether it could have been, as you say, a creator, whether it could have been something that we don't know. We don't have enough data to be able to arrive at a conclusion.
Why would it not be a creator?
Because we don't have evidence of a creator.
The creation is evidence of a creator. That's my whole point. If we have
to call it a creation, you have to demonstrate that there is a creator.
That's a valid point. But by the fact that we have design, we have purpose, we have a system, then this implies that there is a knowledgeable creator.
An assertion isn't demonstration of sufficient evidence. And this is why you can't, the claims that you're making, since we've had a discussion, they're not testable and they're not falsifiable. There's no way for us to be able to put this through some kind of test, to be able to where we can
It's very simple. It's very simple. I think I've repeated it a few times. Demonstrate something to me which came into existence, which didn't exist.
That's not how the burden of proof works.
Let me finish. Explain to me how something which didn't exist came into existence.
So this.
You don't mind if I finish?
Do you know what? I'll let you finish, but I'll tell you what. Go on.
Explain to me how something which didn't exist came into existence, can come into that existence without knowledge, without being with knowledge, capability, and intent. And then I can give you so many examples on a level which we agree upon. The headphones, the building, etc. And when I ask you to show me something which you can actually demonstrate, your example was water. But you haven't demonstrated how water came into existence without a creator.
So for
it to be an option.
So my argument is this. Even the phrasing of that question is problematic, because that isn't how the burden of proof works. If you're making a claim that a God exists, you have to be able to test that claim. You can't ask me, but demonstrate how that couldn't be the case. The focus is on your claim, which your God exists. So what we need to ask is we need a demonstration of how a someone, an entity, can create worlds, can create solar systems, and whatnot. The fact that I can't demonstrate what you're asking me to demonstrate doesn't mean that you're warranted in holding the position that it must have had to have been a creator of the world.
Why don't you think I'm warranted?
So what I'm saying is
because you're saying, you're basically saying in a simple layman's term, you think it is possible.
So I'm saying
you think it is possible.
Possibility has to be demonstrated, and I'm saying I pointed out the flaws in the argument of arguing by analogy.
No. You're saying it's possible that something which didn't exist and has come into existence. You're saying it is possible that could have come without an intelligent being, a creator,
to be fair, my position is I don't know. That's what I'm saying, and I'm saying because when I say I use the water example. That was just an explanation of me saying that all the available information just points to natural means.
What is that natural information which you brought up a number of times that says what is your natural?
So
what's your natural evidence that water exists without a creator?
So I'm saying in terms of like science, how we understand hydrogen and oxygen molecules coming together and creating water.
Okay, but who made the hydrogen? Who made the oxygen? Like, because you're making a very big assertion.
I'm not making it.
But you're saying that because when I asked you to demonstrate something which came into existence,
so I'm saying physics.
Without a creator, you said water.
So I'm saying physics.
So how did water? Show me how water came into existence without a creator. Because I understand that's the point we're discussing.
Yeah. So I'm saying is that when you have hydrogen molecules and oxygen molecules and they come together, you get H2O.
Okay.
And that's
so who made the hydrogen? Who made the oxygen?
It's not about it's how. So it's about physics, the process of physics.
Okay. So how did the process of physics make hydrogen, make oxygen, make them come together and form into water?
So that's just a natural chemical reaction. When you get those two molecules that combine in a certain way, that's just what happens.
Why? But who made that rule? Who made that
But you're making an assertion that it's a who, and that's what you need to demonstrate.
No, because when I'm asking you, either there's a who or there isn't a who.
I don't know that there's a who.
And you're saying you don't know.
Yeah, I'm saying I don't know.
So when I asked you to demonstrate something which comes into existence, I asked you to demonstrate something which comes into existence without knowledge, without capability, and without intent. You said water. Okay. So now this is not I don't know position.
No, I'm saying
Okay,
when you've asked for an explanation, there is if somebody said how has water, how do we have it here? And I'm saying if you ask a biologist or you ask people who study this field, they'll say through evaporation, through condensation, when you get hydrogen and oxygen molecules that combine in a certain way, through physics, we get water. And I'm saying that's my naturalistic explanation of how this has how we have it here on this planet.
So
you're saying to me, we go one step further, but how did that get here?
No. I used, but no, because I asked a very specific question. Maybe I didn't word it well or you missed it. Are you saying that the water exists without a who?
I don't know that the water can exist because of a who or without a who. But I'm saying the available information that we have today just points to naturalistic means, as I've just explained.
You haven't explained. You're explaining from a scientific point of view what water is, how water functions. But how did it come into existence? That's what I'm saying. I'm asking you. My point was very simple. Can you demonstrate something which came into existence without a
No,
who?
but I'm saying you need to demonstrate. So this is the line of reasoning. You're making a claim that God exists and God is creator of all.
Yes.
I'm saying you need to demonstrate that a God has done these things. And I'm saying until such time, you can't argue from a way of analogy that because
for example,
I'm saying the reason why you have proof that this has a creator is because we can show you the manufacturing process. The same way we can do with these cameras, phones, blah, blah, blah. And I'm saying to you, you can't do anything that's comparable about the claim that a God has created the planet or whatnot. And I've even given you the reason why arguing by analogy has its problems. And
no problem. But can you? It's still the same argument.
But I want you to focus on this argument, not the fact that I can't demonstrate. I want you. Don't go to the argument of, well, can you explain something that hasn't come about by? It's your claim that I just want to solely focus on, and I want you to focus on demonstrating.
My claim isn't opposite to your claim.
I'm not. All I'm doing.
My claim is in opposition to your claim. Okay.
My claim is just I don't know.
No.
And if you ask me for an explanation about certain things, I will just explain it through natural means.
From my position, let me see. Allah mentions in the Quran, إِنَّ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ لَآيَاتٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. Allah says, in the creation of the heavens and the earth, and in the alternation of the day and the night, there's signs for people of understanding. People who use their understanding, their reason, their intellect. So, my point is still, we are going round in circles. But let me finish. My point is, look, I'm making a claim that from our human understanding, if something didn't exist and then it comes into existence in a functioning manner, in an orderly manner, we only know that there had to be someone who made it. And that someone...
I'm saying that's not true.
Let me finish. No, I'm saying everything we can demonstrate, that who had to have knowledge, had to have ability, and had to have intent. Now, I'm saying that when we take that and we say, okay, the universe exists, the planet we're upon exists, we exist, and I'm saying that there has to be a creator who has knowledge, who has ability, and has intent. Regardless if it's the Islamic God, the Christian God, put that to the side. But I'm saying that there has to be a creator. Now, for you to say, I would say, for you to say, well, no, I don't, like Allah mentioned in the Quran, كَيْفَ تَكْفُرُونَ بِاللَّهِ. How do you disbelieve in Allah? How do you disbelieve in a God? I want you to give another option to show that, no, I know.
I don't have to give another option, and this is the problem. The focus has to be on your claim. It's like somebody turning around, and I'm going to go back to the.
Yeah, but my claim is built.
So
on, my claim is built on the fact that you can't give another option.
No, but that's not how reasoning works, and I'll tell you why. And I said this before, but you're saying that's not what you're saying, but it is. The fact that I don't have an explanation doesn't mean that you're warranted in holding your view. And I'm saying, the fact that I don't know something doesn't mean that we get to say that God is the most plausible thing. You have to demonstrate, and you have to reach a burden of proof. The fact that I can't come up with something doesn't mean that you're warranted in saying, so then, because you have to jump through all of these hoops in terms of you have to demonstrate. And this is why I'm saying we need to isolate the arguments. Simply put, if God was on trial for whether he existed or not, you haven't met your burden of proof in providing evidence that God exists.
I disagree. Firstly,
and I said, and to go back to what you're saying, you're saying because whenever we've demonstrated that something has a creator, like the headphones or a bus or a car, whatever it may be, you're saying that it warrants then believing that the earth that we live in and everything else must have a creator. And I've said to you, the problem's in arguing by way of analogy. And I'm saying you have to, the reason why we know that there's a creator is because we can demonstrate the creative process, the manufacturing process. And I'm saying to you, we can't do anything comparable for the claim that a God exists or a God being a creator.
Of course we can. So of course we can. What? Of course we can. Because by the fact that the universe exists, the fact that we exist, the fact that the air we breathe, the fact that the lungs to breathe with, the fact that the water cycle, the fact that we use the water, the fact that plants grow, we eat the plants, we digest the food, etc. All of this shows that there has to be a creator. Unless, and for someone to say that's not true, I would say you have to now present an argument why that's not true.
No, so this is the differences between understanding.
Because you made a statement that that's not true.
No, so, I'm saying your reasoning, not the conclusion. The fact that there could or couldn't be a God, I don't know. But in terms of the conclusion, I'm sorry, not the conclusion, the reasoning. And I'm saying the fact that we merely exist or we're here, that's not evidence that that's from a God. You have to prove.
Of course it is. Because you can't prove how the universe can come into existence without a God.
But so this is what I'm saying. The fact that
without a creator.
The fact that I can't demonstrate it. And this is why I hold the position of I don't know. I'm not even saying.
No, but you have. When you say I don't know, I would say you're going to have to. For you to say I don't know, it's just. I would say it's a mask of ignorance, because you have options in front of you, and you're just saying you don't know.
No, but
because when you say I don't know, I would expect you to say, well, there's this option, but I don't think it works for this reason. There's this option.
But you have to demonstrate that God is even a candidate explanation in the first place. And my issue as to why I don't accept the rationale that's being put forward is because you can't do something that's comparable to the way that we know creation because we have evidence of creation. Yes. I can show you the exact process as to how buildings, headphones, and everything is created. But I can't do anything even remotely comparable for the
But the problem
claim.
is even in all these things you can demonstrate, you cannot show anything which has come into existence without knowledge, without capability, and without an intent. So for you to say, I have no evidence which I can demonstrate for this, but I think it's possible that the universe and myself came into existence like this, I think you're just, it's a mask of ignorance.
So I'll give you an example.
Sorry, can I say one very quickly? I'm going to go and pray.
Yeah.
So I'll let you make the conclusion.
No, it's cool.
All right.
So if we were on, I think what you're trying to get at is the fact that I can't disprove the claim, and
No, you can't present any other reasonable option.
So this is why I say I don't know, because I don't know what the answer
But
is.
I don't think you have a justification to say you don't know.
So this is why we go back and we focus on what you're saying, and your position is that
And I believe my position is justified, and I don't think your position is justified.
that's fine.
Yeah.
So my thing to you is, you have the evidence sufficiently that God has created the planets, or everything that we know to be has come from a God. And I'm saying all the things that you're using, have flaws in it, in terms of you're arguing from intelligent design, which
I never brought that up, but anyway.
no, but it's a form of argument, or should I say a categorization of argument, in terms of.
Just make your conclusion on what we discussed.
So yeah, all it is that because we don't have evidence, we don't get to hold the creation or God being a creator as a candidate explanation. And until such time as you can demonstrate, or any other person can, I'm warranted in saying I don't know. And that's it. Simple as that.
I disagree, but thank you for your
My
time.
brother, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, because I'm going to go and pray now, but if you're around, we can continue, or another Saturday.
Oh, let me give you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We have mic, no mic.
Do you have another mic? Oh yeah, this other mic. Oh, free. I didn't even realize. Nice one.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Yusuf, I have to confess.